Hey there, I'm Connor, I'm Off the Cuff, and today I am talking to you about Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is an adaptation of the Seth Grahame-Smith's parody novel of Jane Austen's classic satire, Pride and Prejudice. It is like Pride and Prejudice. Elizabeth Bennet and her sisters, the Bennet sisters, try to navigate high society, finding suitors that are suitable, but only this time, there's a zombie element. They're at war with zombies. There's zombie action, zombie violence, zombies. And in case you forgot, the movie reminds you that there are zombies. How is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies? I can kind of sum it up pretty shortly. The Pride and Prejudice part worked enough. I thought it was alright. The Zombies part, didn't really dig it all that much. Didn't really care. I can sum this up into 3 micro reviews. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 1 is Pride and Prejudice with zombie cutaway gag. We have scenes of, say, the Bennet sisters talking about who they fancy, who they'd like to marry, who they got crushes on. Except instead of them just talking, they're also fighting and training on how they're gonna, in case they're zombie training. It was weird. It didn't mesh well. It was just, that's the kind of gag that just doesn't work for me. There's also scenes where they're at a party and then they'll be talking and somebody will say, "Oh, that's a girl I fancy. I'd like to see her kill a zombie." Ha, 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 ha. Get it? They wouldn't say zombie. Isn't it weird that these high society people in this classic literature are saying zombie? How contemporary. But there's also weird exposition. Right after the opening scene, we have this huge exposition dump. And yes, it's great to hear Charles Dance's voice, but we get so much information in like 2 minutes, and it goes by like that. And the way this will pay off in Act 3, but at the time, it is very poor exposition. There's a lot of expository dialogue that isn't natural. It's very on the nose. It's very pandering to the audience, and I wasn't digging it at first. Then we get to Act 2, which, for my money, was the best part, and it really is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. The zombie element is interwoven into the politics of Pride and Prejudice, and I was really kind of enjoying myself. And it's kind of at this time where Matt Smith enters the picture. Matt Smith played Doctor Who, and he's kind of getting into movies now. I've never seen Doctor Who, and my only exposure to Mr. Smith was his very small presence in the Terminator Genesis, which he was such a small role I couldn't exactly have an opinion on him. He was delightful in this movie. He struck the right balance between goofy parody, but also he fills these costumes, he inhabits this set very naturally. So, and then at that time, it's almost as if everything around him got better, and the rest of the movie seemed to get better, and it too found its footing. And I quite enjoyed myself for a while there. The movie introduces this great idea about different levels of zombiehood, kind of like that movie Warm Bodies from a couple years ago. And then we get to Act 3, which is and Zombies. And this is where the movie really started to fall apart for me. It became a bit of a mess. It became all about the zombie action. And that great idea they had about the politics of zombies just gets kicked out the window. It becomes a big zombie fest. That's it. So, and it also becomes very confusing because all the exposition from like the second scene of this movie becomes extremely relevant to the stuff at hand. And by then you'd forgotten about all that, and the rest of the movie didn't give any context, a whole lot of meaning to that exposition. So now we're asked to care about stuff that we were informed on like an hour and a half ago, and it was very poorly in the script at that point became very frustrating. The action throughout this movie, it's okay. Nothing particularly great, but it's not bad. It's filmed decently. There's no shaky cam. The sets in this movie are pretty good. They're big and elegant, and they have a nice texture to them. You feel like they're on a real set. And the makeup effects, too, really good. Really, really good. The zombies look great. The costumes also look nice. I felt like I was in, I think, 18th century England. So, yeah, fine by me. The acting all around is pretty decent. Matt Smith is great. Everyone else, they're decent. Lily James is elegant and gorgeous, and she's Lily James. Sam Riley, Charles Dance, Lena Headey, everyone else, Jack Houston, they all look like they're having fun. Nothing great, nothing bad. Eh. But then we get to the other elements of the production that don't really work. The CGI, you can tell this movie was on a bit of a budget, and it was really starting to stretch its budget. The CGI is kind of noticeable, and it's really offset because of how good the makeup effects are. Some sets are pretty blank at times, but then again, other sets and exterior shots are very big and nice. In the end, I'm going to give Pride and Prejudice and Zombies a 5 out of 10. It's better than I thought it would be, but having seen the movie, and I don't think it was as good as it could have been. So, if it's on TV, if it's on Netflix, watch a little bit of it. If it's working for you, continue watching it. You'll probably enjoy it. If it's not gelling for you, then you can skip it. Otherwise, it's typical February fare. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.